Alrighty, I think it's live. Hello, happy end of June. I can't believe it's almost July already. I'm not there yet mentally. Okay, I gotta get a few things set up here. There we go. So I have the chat window open. If anybody pops in and wants to type a question um, on the YouTube link, if you type in the chat window on the video, then I should see it here during this live session. I think today will be on the short side because I have a busy afternoon ahead, but I did want to pop in and say hello and see if anybody is gonna join me. I put up the notice a little bit late this, well, no, I guess it was Monday, Sunday, Monday, I don't know. Anyway, here I am. Hello. This is having a lot of memory lane happening this week because a year ago at this time, I was here in Portland. I had flown up for a trip that was supposed to be about looking at this house in which I'm now living and meeting with the principal and special ed administrator at Stevens School. And then, of course, everything went a little bananas and it turned into, I think on this exact day, actually, the 27th, met with a surgeon and then got sent for lab work and testing. And all of a sudden, all this stuff was rolling. But it's my friend Ron's birthday. And so that night, he had a little dinner party for his birthday. It was very nice to put away all of the craziness of last summer's diagnosis and just enjoy the party. And then that night, I think it was that night after everybody left, I realized that the only way to get up here and get the surgery in the time frame that the surgeon wanted to do it, because she wanted to get the tumor out within a month of diagnosis, which was the 21st. The only way was to skip Comic-Con and just go back to San Diego and pack and move and do it fast. And that's what we did, thanks to a lot of help from our friends who came and packed my whole house. And so all of a sudden, here we were. So all this week, I keep sort of being like, oh, yeah, today was the day last year when that happened. And that happened. I think I flew back to San Diego tomorrow, the 28th. And then the next day was like, get an MRI, now go drive around and get films and send them. It was quite a time. I'm glad it's over. Yeah. So here I am a year later, and I live here now. Look at this room. I love it. I love my little studio. We started off calling it my office, and then after the first week or two, I decided, once I started setting it up, I decided to call it my studio because just, words matter. Language matters. It shapes thought. The words that we use can have an effect on how we feel about things and how we think about things. So I decided, no, I'm going to call it my studio to help me know that when I enter this space, this is a space where creativity lives, where creative things happen. It's a space for my creative work. It's also the place where, of course, I pay bills and I do other work that is not as, that's not writing, but I can do that here in my studio and have things sort of bleed in the right direction, if that makes sense. Have the dominant feeling that I try to catch when I walk in here is, okay, I'm going to come in here, I'm going to make things. So I switch back and forth. I mean, kind of throughout, because we always called it, I didn't have an office in our house in San Diego. Scott's office was the boys' bedroom. So it was their bedroom by night and his office by day. In our Virginia house, which was a long time ago now, we shared an office. We did have an office in the basement that we shared. And I wrote a lot of books in that office, but still, anyway, I decided to to use a linguistic boost to help me stay in the frame of mind that I want to be in when I come in here. And I really do like this space. We do a lot of making art in here. Rilla and I, we have our Saturday night art dates in this room, and we all my all my stuff, paints and washi. And okay, so here's my current obsession is these Neocolor 2, these Caran d'Ache Neocolor 2 water soluble wax pastels. So I've used these before, but just I had like one, and I like it so much that we wound up getting this set. And I like them because they go down on paper just like a crayon, only a little creamier than a Crayola. They have a nice creamy feel to them. That's just a texture I really like, soft and smooth. And so you can just draw with them just like crayons, or you can then go over them with a wet brush, and it turns into this more like watercolor effect. Here, I'll see if I can show. This is my little card that I made this morning. And so see, the colors blend really nicely. This is, I went over it with an orange, and then I like dry with the red, and then I took the water brush. I can't see it. Took the water brush, focus, and so made the red more like, it looks like watercolor once you go over it with a wet brush. And then I took another color, the orange, and went over it just to do some little highlighty things. So that's what this is. And then I went back over that with a little bit more water. And what I like to do a lot is, so then, then I've got like red on the brush. So then I'll dab it in another color and let them bleed in. And this is nothing fancy. This is my index card a day project that I'm doing. But anyway, I just think it's so pretty the way the color just blends. So it has a watercolor effect. In a way, I like them better than using watercolors. Maybe because I have more control with the crayon when I'm drawing, and then I can use the water brush to get that effect. But also, I think I like it because the pigment is so rich and bright, and I just love really saturated color. When I do use watercolors, I tend to not use enough water because I like them really saturated. So this just suits me. Oh, and then I often will go over the blue in here is actually just a Prismacolor pencil. So I do that too a lot. I really like mixing them. This index card a day thing, I have been having a lot of fun with this month. I started doing it years and years ago with Daisy Yellow. That's the website. It's Tammy Garcia is the person who thought of it and puts up cool tutorials and prompts and things. So index card a day, ICAD, ICAD. You'll see it on Instagram a lot. People will do hashtag ICAD. And it's kind of this low pressure, fun way just to make yourself do some mark making or put some color on a page. It's an index card, so like you just don't get precious about it. That's why I like it. When I work in my sketchbook, I instantly am like, oh, I want it to be good for posterity. And since I'm just learning, it's not gonna be. It's gonna be student work. And but I do get, so then it inhibits me a little bit. So index cards are cheap, and you can get them recycled, and they aren't, they don't take paint and water in the same, like not watercolor, in the same way that really good watercolor paper does. So of course you don't get some of the wonderful effects of watercolor, but you also don't have to get all tied up in knots because you're using expensive watercolor paper and you're messing it up because you're just learning. So I just like, okay, these are just, this is colored pencil. This looks like Neocolor. It's actually the same thing, only a different form, different shape. It's the Woody Stabilos. These are all Rillas, but I steal them all the time. So same thing, water-soluble wax crayons. So you can use them dry. You can go over it and get them wet and get that sort of painty effect. You can even, with either one, where'd my brush go? You can get your brush wet and come out there and like use it just to get some paint on your brush, and then you can paint. So these are called 3-in-1, and I was trying this morning to remember what the 3 was, because it's like dry and wet, and what was the third? But I think maybe this is the third, that you could use it just as a little paint stick. Okay, now I have paint on here. I'm just going to slap it down. Get away, get away. So I use those, and then sometimes I go over with stamps. You can tell what I'm doing, right? This is stamping. Hey, I have a viewer. Hello. Say who it is in the chat window. Hi. Or come join me. Okay, I was going to give a little walkthrough on how to pop into the chat, because I know some people tried last time and weren't able to. If you go to my Patreon page, the post that I put up that had the link for the video, I updated it a few minutes ago with the link to join me here in the Hangout. And if you click on that, then it's going to take you to Google Hangouts, and you might have to log in with your Google account. And then it will say, do you want to join? It gives you a little checkbox. You're about to join a live broadcast. And you do that, and then it'll split the screen and your face will be right here. And wouldn't that be nice for everybody to have somebody to look at besides me? So jump in, and then we can chat. That's what this is supposed to be for. A chance to do some face-to-face chatting, ask questions or pool ideas. Hello. Is this Bethany again? I'm trying to remember if that was your ID from last time. Was it Bethany who jumped in last time? Pop into the Hangout. Come on, or else type a question or something. What do you want to talk about? Okay, so if you're trying to get into the Hangout and you're having trouble, click on the YouTube link and type it into the chat box there. Not the comments of the YouTube video, but look on the side on the right, scroll down a little bit, and there's a chat box. Type the question, and I will see it. Hi, yay, Bethany, I'm glad you're here again, yay. Okay, have you tried these Neocolors or Stabilo crayons? I'm just so addicted. Okay, here's another one. This is like a 2-minute. That's the other thing I like about the index card project is I seriously don't spend more than 5 minutes. I'm slapping it down, but it's just so satisfying to do some little mark making. This one was fun. I'm just doing show and tell here. Really, that's all I ever do online, isn't it? Show and tell. I just got really like hooked on making. Oh, I had stuff on the back though. That was nice. Drawing my little doll. This is my little cutie doll. She looks like my friend Sarah Gatos. Sarah, if you happen to watch this video, I think of you all the time when I look at she sits on my desk. Do I have any others to share? I mean, this is just, look, that's just nothing. That's just, but it's color, it's mark making, and it's very satisfying to me. Okay, I think these are mostly just goofy cards. But that's one of the things I've been doing for fun in this rather tumultuous time, because I've been spending a lot of time, of course, researching. And hey, hello.
Hello.
Yay, I'm so happy.
I've got something playing in the background. I'm trying to figure it out.
Yay. Oh, you've made my day.
Oh, you know what? It's hold on, I'm trying to get my guy dressed.
Hello. I've been there many times. How are you guys doing?
Good. I was not expecting to get on video, so
you look fabulous. Anyway, it's all real life.
Yes, it is. As you can see.
I have a friend who's always like, you look a little washed out on camera. You could use just a little something. And I hate wearing makeup. I just can't be bothered. So
I normally do, but it's too hot here right now.
Remind me where you live, Bethany. Georgia, what part?
Atlanta area.
Oh, okay. I have family in Thomasville.
Okay.
I lived there for a while when I was a little kid, really little.
Mm-hmm.
I went to school there for kindergarten.
Nice. I see. What?
Hello.
What is you were talking about water soluble wax crayons? Is that what you're using?
Yes. Okay. So there's the big fat ones, and then there's these skinny ones, and they're each a different brand, but they're essentially the same concept. So let's see if I can get it to focus. Okay. So this is a Neo Color 2 Aquarelle.
Okay. I think I have some of those. I need to look.
They're super fun. The only thing is they also make them in water resistant, and they look exactly the same, and they come in the same kind of tin. So it is possible that you might order them by accident when you knew exactly what you wanted. And I didn't find out until I had tried every color, and I was like, okay, now the fun part. And I got the water going over them, and they're not bleeding. They're not bleeding. They're not bleeding. I'm like, what? So now I have both kinds, which is kind of a bummer. I didn't want the other kind.
Yeah.
Maybe I should do a giveaway. Except that I'd rather give the fun ones. And then, so this other brand, we love these. So Rilla, who is 12 now, we use these all the time. I keep grabbing the orange. That's so funny. It's probably my least favorite color in the thing. But okay, so these are the Woody. I can't get it to focus on the thing. There we go. Anyway, super fun. Do you guys do a lot of painting or drawing?
We try. I love doing it, but I have to keep him out of it too.
Yeah.
So
it is challenging at different stages, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna take off now.
Do you guys like to paint?
Do you love to paint?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
It's fun.
Do you like watercolors or acrylic or tempera paint?
All of them. We do all of them.
A lot.
Well, I like these especially because they're not messy going down, so I can sketch when I'm out and I can come home and do the water part. That's fun sometimes.
Yeah.
If we're trying to do nature journaling or something. I say that. We haven't actually taken the nature journaling, but it's a really good idea. I just had this second.
Yeah, I
know. So how's your summer going?
Good. We had a huge trip.
Oh, don't even get me.
Where all did we go?
I know we went to a part of New York.
We went to Niagara, and then we went to Philadelphia, and we went to Rochester to see friends.
Oh, we went to I forgot what it's called, but it is so good.
Washington D.C. So we went to Washington.
We went Canada.
Oh, Canada! Yes,
you went to Canada. Wow. That was a big trip. Did you drive or fly?
We drove.
Sounds like you drove if you stopped in Washington.
Yeah.
And he always gets sick even for a 30-minute car ride.
Yeah, no, he did great. So.
But he didn't throw up at all.
That's great.
He didn't take a shot on me.
That's really good.
Yeah, so that was a two-week trip.
Wow.
Challenge.
Yeah.
That is a
big challenge.
And half of it was just me. No, just me and 6 kids.
I've done that too. It's quite an adventure, isn't it?
Yeah.
When we moved from Virginia to San Diego, at that time I had 5 kids, ages 11 to newborn. Well, she was 4 months when we left Virginia, and she was 5 months when we got to California, because it was like traveling by covered wagon.
Well, yeah, at that age. Oh my gosh.
It was crazy. So you did it alone with the kids for part of the trip?
Yes. So they're 16, 14, 12, 10, 8, and then almost 4.
3.
So.
4th of July coming up.
Yeah.
You have some helping hands.
Yes. So we made it.
Well, welcome home. How long have you been home?
A week tomorrow. So yeah, I'm still doing laundry. Trying to
feeling settled back in.
Yeah.
And is it hot? Got that good Georgia humidity going?
Yes. Yes.
Mom,
Yeah. So we had the pool today. We went to the pool today.
can I
Oh, you're
show
running
the
and jumping.
major award?
No.
You got an
We went. Oh, that's one thing we did. Do you love
Christmas Story House.
Christmas Story, the movie. We love the movie. And so in Cleveland, they have
Mom,
the house, the actual house.
Oh,
So
cool.
we stopped on a whim.
Mom.
I know. You want to do your puzzle?
Yeah.
Okay. So we stopped at that because that was we were driving through Cleveland. I'm like, isn't this where the Christmas Story house is? So we stopped and went and saw it.
Oh, wow.
So
Well, that sounds like
it was fun.
a fun little side trip.
Yeah.
I'll have to ask Julie Bogart if she's ever been there. She lives in
Yeah. Well, I came to the retreat a year ago. It was
Okay.
last year, wasn't it? Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I was there last year.
It's coming up on, was it July?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
It was
that
like
was so
mid-July.
fun. That's
Yeah.
one of the best events I've ever done.
Yeah.
I loved it so much. I felt like it was a treat for me to get to be there. I gave a lot of talks that weekend, but
Still a nice break.
being there and listening was
I know it actually. A friend that I met through Brave Writer and that I met in person there for the first time last year is who I went and saw on our trip in Rochester. So
Oh, fun.
yeah.
Well, that's fun.
And she, actually, I think she's on here too. I don't know. I was trying to box her a minute ago, tell her to get on.
Yeah.
Carol McNamara. So,
Yeah.
so that's who we went to see in Rochester.
Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
Mom,
But I'm not delighted about almost every single person being a boy. in
Oh
the
yeah,
house.
she has a bunch of boys, and I have a bunch of girls. So,
Oh,
and they actually went to Philadelphia with us too. So,
wow. So
yeah.
wait, you drove all the way up there and then you went
Mhm.
back down?
No,
Mhm.
no, Mom. I
Very
just
cool.
did this by myself.
Oh, good. Okay.
Look at me.
I love
to do a
seeing
puzzle.
through your window here, Bethany, because
Yes.
it looks so much like my uncle's house in Thomasville.
Mhm. Trees. You've got all the trees up there, though.
Yeah, boy, I am really enjoying living in a place with trees.
Yeah.
There's sequoias in the neighborhood, and I didn't know that was a
Oh,
thing.
wow. Yeah, I
Mommy,
didn't realize
Mommy, Mommy.
Portland's beautiful.
Yeah, it is kind of magical. Now, I've been told that this spring has been especially magical.
Beautiful.
That it doesn't usually that like wave after wave after wave of bloom that I feel like has been going on since the end of January, because I know on January 29th
I
is
think
when
this
there's a
one
big
go
field of
here.
Yeah.
and then it was just from then on, just rolled right into one wave of bloom after another. But I guess it's been just unusually, I think usually we get more rain. And so a lot of the blossoms get battered, so you enjoy them for a day or two and then they're gone.
Yeah.
And instead, everything just hung around. And
Nice. That's very nice.
I have really enjoyed it. It's made a walker out of me.
Mhm.
I mean, my husband and I took walks every morning in San Diego. We walked a lot, but now I'm like going 3, 4, 5 miles a day. I just can't resist. And it's light here so late, which has taken some getting used to. My kids, my boys go to bed around 8:30, and it's still light, and because it's light here until almost 10 right now.
I know. That's when I was in Rochester. I woke up one morning and it was 5:30 and the sun was shining. I'm like, what is going on? And finally it took me a minute. I'm like, oh, I'm that far north. Oh my gosh.
Right.
I
know,
Here
it's
it's
an
not.
adjustment.
I'm like,
I'm waking up so
6:30.
early.
Yeah.
It's been good for my productivity though, because I just get up and write before anybody else is awake, and then I feel like, ooh, okay, that's done.
Yeah, exactly.
It's good. But the poem "Bed in Summer"?
Yes.
Mama.
Yeah, I love that
Hearing
one.
a lot of that.
Yeah.
Go
I have to tell my kids that one. I'm like, remember? That's what happens in summer.
Mom,
Oh. So,
Well, I think my computer may die soon. So.
well, I'm glad you popped in.
I
I do
know.
appreciate it. It's so nice.
I didn't realize there was a Hangout too. I was on the YouTube video. I'm like, oh wait, I can get on Hangout. Okay, I'll try. So there you go. I'll try to next time.
Okay, so get Carol to come in next time.
I will. I'll get Carol. Then we can just talk.
Yeah, that's what I want. I know I was a little sporadic with them this year because it was a busy year, but things have settled down now. So I'll be doing it probably the last Wednesday of the month, the same time slot, and we'll just use it as some chat time.
Okay, sounds good.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
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 Bye, guys. Oh, more kids. Oh, that was so fun. I'm so happy. Okay, so anybody who's watching this in the replay, that's what you should do. Okay, super easy, right? And I'll not wash my hair for a week if that'll make you feel better about joining me on camera. I probably won't do that, but you know what I mean. So we can pop in and we can have chats, and I'm in the groove now and I have a time slot and we will make this happen. Let me think if I had anything else I was going to say before I say goodbye. Okay, last month when I did the live chat, we had a few viewers, and what I would usually do, what I will do this time, is post the video itself in a post on the Patreon so that you can see it. I didn't do it last time because after I did it, after I did the live chat, I discovered that I had inadvertently revealed some secrets about the next year's lineup of Brave Writer Arrow books, because I'm doing reboots for half of next year's slate. And gosh, I was so immersed in my own thinking about my own excitement about pulling the books together and getting geared up to reread them. And there's some of my favorites, like Harriet the Spy. I can say it now. I just blah, blah, blah in the chat, and I talked all about the books that I was doing. And then that very day, I clicked into the Brave Writer Slack channel and discovered that there was a big reveal planned. And I knew that I had only had a couple of views on the video, so I didn't post it, and I just kept it for just those few people who had gotten the sneak peek, because I didn't need to give any secrets away. But now the reveal has happened, and you can go to Brave Writer and find out what the other books are, besides the 5 that I am doing. And so my first one is Redwall. That one I'm rebooting and turning it in August, and then that'll be does that make sense? Yeah. I guess maybe it might be the September selection. I haven't looked at this. I know my deadline schedule for the writing piece of it, but I haven't got the schedule for when the Arrow actually launches in my head yet. Anyway, that's a fun project. And it's really fun. My daughter, Kate, I can say her name here. The old blog names are starting to become a little bit superfluous now that my kids are older and getting on social media themselves. And anyway, she does the copy editing for the Arrows and the Boomerangs for Brave Writer. So that's really fun. And she just graduated from college last weekend. As you saw, I guess I sent out the graduation photo. So anyway, big milestone for us. And she's home now for a few weeks. She's here with us before she goes back to San Luis Obispo for a while. And then we get to see what happens with her exciting, unrolling future. Okay, did I talk about everything I was going to talk about? Arrow books. Well, really, it was just, that's what it was. So I will put the video on the, in a post on Patreon. I'll just update the announcement post, probably. And as always, please let me know if there's stuff you would like to chat about, you would like me to talk about. I need to do some good book posts. I haven't done any kind of writing about books in a while, I guess because I was writing all the Arrows, and so that was really intensive writing about books. And I didn't do any on the blog or on the Patreon. but I kind of am in the mood. I have a good rhythm going this summer that I hope I can maintain. Like I was saying with Bethany, I'm waking up so early. So I get up and first I write my morning pages, which is from The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. This is a book that's been around forever and a lot of people know about it. And I really resisted this practice for a long time. You wake up and before you do a thing, before you talk to anybody, certainly before you pick up your phone, you just write 3 pages longhand in a spiral notebook and just pour out whatever, it's stream of consciousness, whatever. And I really resisted it for probably like 20, 25 years since I first heard about it, because I'm not a journaler. I'm not a diarist. There's a reason that blogging worked so well for me, that I connected with it so well as a way to write about my life, because it was writing for an audience. It was writing to share with people. I'm a social writer. I'm a social reader too, in a way. Like whatever I'm reading, I want to be talking about with people. And that was one of the ways the blog worked so well for me, was to give me a space to say, oh, I'm reading this, I'm in the middle of it, and it is on my mind. Like as soon as I finished the book, I sort of lost interest in, I have never wanted to be a full-on reviewer. I like to write about my reading life, which is different than reviewing books. So I was very reluctant to, even though I know so many people who swear by morning pages, how it sparks ideas and helps them sort of work through, creative, thorny problems or roadblocks. But I finally, last December, decided that I should give it a try, because I was feeling like after I was just sort of coming out of all of the craziness from last summer, and I needed something to redirect just needed my brain pulled back in. I felt very scattered and unfocused and not as productive as I wanted to be. I was working a lot. I was getting a lot done, but it wasn't on the book that I needed to be working on. So I started doing morning pages, and they did help because then I think it just sort of got me in word mode. Okay, so I did them for about 3 months, and then I stopped. I don't even remember why. If I miss a day, it's like deadly to my practice, because then it's easy to miss the next day and the next. So I have to be we traveled and I brought it with me, and I just get up and do it early. And since nobody's going to read them, and I don't mind if the handwriting is scribbly and awful, I can write them in the dark. It doesn't really matter. So I get up and do that. And then I go and make myself a cup of cocoa, and I come back, and before I open my browser, I write a few pages of the novel I'm working on. So the way it's working out, that's like I'm done by 7:30, and so it feels kind of good to have that done for the day, and then whatever else I need to do in the day can happen when it happens. So I started morning pages back up about a month ago, and then I started doing the early morning writing sessions too, and that's working much better for me than my late afternoon writing sessions when my brain was kind of surly, reluctant. So, okay, so that's how my summer's shaping up. And then that means I have that late afternoon period for walks, which I am really enjoying. And I call them photo walks, and I go and I look for things to take pictures of, and then I get to play on Instagram. Although I haven't, since I started the writing time in the mornings, I haven't rearranged that used to be my Instagram time. I would lie in bed and pick out my photo and do whatever I wanted to do to it and get it up. And that was my Instagram time. So now I haven't really rejiggered the schedule to put it in somewhere, but it'll find itself a time. Okay, I think that's all I have for today. I'm looking around like something is going to speak to me in this room and tell me if there was anything else. No, it's been 35 minutes. That's a good little chat there. All right. enjoy. Have a good week. You know, it's a bit of a rocky week in a lot of respects. But I hope that in your home, things are joyful and that you're reading good books and putting some color down on paper and taking long walks. That's what I want for you this summer. So that's what I want for me this summer. Alrighty, take care, and I will see you on the blog, on the Patreon, and on Instagram, and on Facebook if you can stand me. But I have a whole different side of myself that comes out on Facebook. So, alrighty. See ya next time. Bye. Okay, not bye, because this is what happens. Every time I say bye, then I have to hunt and find the button because I'm not wearing my glasses because I focus better without them, but then I can't, like, oh, there's that button. Okay, I found it now. So this is a real goodbye. Goodbye.